Hello everybody, this is Gary, and I'm back on camera because today I'm talking about how we ex-vegans feel and the results that we have. And Jon Venus replied to that. Veganism isn't a diet. Does anybody want to respond to that? So when he was doing veganism, was he doing it as not a diet, but, well, he wasn't doing it for the animals. Well, I wasn't expecting that. His thumbs down is higher than up. And I can only imagine it's because he doesn't stick to a diet either. Because there's nothing else wrong with this video. Not even controversial. Okay, here's what he eats. This was about 4 months ago.
So this is the breakfast that we're seeing right now, a buckwheat porridge. So we sliced up some apples and threw that into a pot with some raisins as well. Whether you're having buckwheat or oatmeal, having fruits in there like raisins really helps sweeten the whole meal up and also add some extra carbohydrates, which I find really helpful right before going for a heavy workout. So we've been soaking this buckwheat overnight before preparing it. It's always a good idea to soak your grains before using it. Same goes for legumes. And then mashed up a banana, as you guys have seen me do 1,000 times, or almond milk or any milk of your choice. Buckwheat is different to oats in the sense that it has a more nutty flavor, a very different consistency. It's not as calorie dense, so definitely a good option. I also added some peanut butter, although I forgot to show that with.
Okay, that's the first mistake. We don't want to mix fat with fruit or even grains. It's so complicated. But before that, it was okay, but a lot more complicated than I do. That's one of the reasons why I talk about dietary freedom. I got the freedom where I don't have to spend the time putting all those things together. I just grab those fruits and I just eat them while I'm doing something else, watching TV. And also it's healthier than mixing it with grains. But the jury is out on exactly how unhealthy it is. So I'm just noticing here the words cod liver oil on the screen here. Really? Just when I thought he had this vegan thing down, looks like he's buying into some old myths here.
With breakfast, I also usually take some cod liver oil, which has DHA, vitamin D3, and also a lot of vitamin A, which is something that I've been optimizing for lately. So this meal filled me up, gave me a ton of energy, and 1 hour later, I decided to go for an intense workout session. As you guys know, I had a herniated disc 2 years ago, and the type of training that I have been doing is not very optimal for reversing those effects. My muscle gains have been on point, and my strength for some reason has just gone through the roof. I'm setting PRs all the time.
For some unknown reason? I may have to do some investigating there. Okay, here's lunch.
It's really fun. Then we're jumping into our lunch, which is going to be a kale stir fry, ginger and garlic, along with some soy sauce, a little bit of lemon juice, a little bit of honey, and mix it all up, and that's it. Then we just chop up the tofu into small cubes and marinate it into the sauce, mix it up, leave it for a few minutes, and then we're gonna fry them in a pan with a little bit of olive oil for a few minutes while we prepare the kale by de-stemming it. Don't forget to chop up the kale into smaller pieces, a bit of hemp seeds on top, just to give a little extra protein boost, some intake. Then we're gonna be moving on to the last meal, which is gonna be a gourmet dinner with some wild game meat from the reindeer that we hunted last week. So we're having the reindeer meat. We also made a nice mash out of cauliflower, carrots.
So I'm editing this now and hearing this again, hearing some stuff I missed here. This guy is hunting reindeer?
And a delicious mushroom sauce made with, I think it's called chanterelle mushrooms that were picked in the forest nearby here as well. Anyways, let's get to the nutrient breakdown.
Yes, I was just thinking, his diet doesn't sound too different from mine, except where are the carbs? There's a little bit of carbs in every meal, but not much.
I got about 2,270 calories, which is not a lot for me.
He's saying he only burns 2,200 calories?
Usually I have a lot more. I actually would have a extra smoothie. Usually I have a lot more.
Well, if he usually has a lot more, why is he put in the title 2,200 calories? And he worked out today.
Which means my carb intake would be quite a bit higher than 45%, which it is at today.
I'm surprised it's that high. Okay, what happened when he ate meat after being vegan?
And a personal one for me. And this is about what happened after I started eating meat and animal products. I moved away more momentarily from the vegan lifestyle. for 4 months after being vegan for 5 years because of fear. I let it conquer my emotions and my decisions.
I remember. It's not that he was having problems. I guess he takes in so much information and he just got worried.
So what I started doing in the beginning was I consumed eggs from backyard chickens, mussels, and oysters. An easy start for someone who is worried about the well-being of animals, right? Shellfish or mussels and oysters, they don't have a central nervous system. They don't really feel pain the way that other sentient beings do. I did not enjoy the taste at all. I gotta admit that it was very tough to get those foods down. But what I noticed straight away after 2 weeks was that my muscle cramps were way down, way decreased compared to before.
I didn't know about this. Muscle cramps for years? And this guy's got these great muscles. I don't get muscle cramps. Has he been to a doctor? Oh, more on doctors later.
And for some reason, I don't know what it is, but those things relieve me of the cramps. Or maybe again, it was a placebo effect that worked.
It could be a coincidence. It's complicated. You can't just make it real simple like that. Yeah, at least he is open-minded here. I'm skimming through here, and he said he had massive muscle gains.
And getting personal records and lifts that I hadn't lifted for years. I started, doing PRs and getting personal records and lifts.
Yeah, this is after he started eating meat again. 1 pound a day.
I have a feeling that it's because of one, increased protein intake, because I've always been of the belief that you don't need that much protein. And number 2, taking the longest break I've ever taken from working out and going back into the gym. That probably had a huge effect as well.
That's what I was thinking. And notice he said lifts he hasn't made in years, which means he's made them in the past. So he took a break and his strength lowered. What that means is your body is more ready than ever to go right back to where it was. And all that protein is right there. Okay, the other famous ex-vegan, into Miley Cyrus. During a September 2020 interview on the Joe Rogan Experience, Miley revealed that she had to incorporate fish into her diet after being vegan for 6 years because she wasn't feeling well. I recall that. Why should she feel well? She said, I was vegan for a very long time and have had to introduce fish and omegas into my life because my brain wasn't functioning properly. If you know anything about her, yeah, her brain shouldn't be functioning properly. But she says she's sharper now. I remember that it could have been just calories, like Jon Venus was talking about. And for women, it's worse because they tend to eat a lot of salads. Miley's Twitter page. See if we can get some clues on how she's doing. Fuck yeah. My new record is out now. Oh, I want to point out here that she has 45 million followers. What the heck is going on here? Christmas show. My groundbreaking video of a teenager smoking a bomb and saying dumb shit to their friends. Is that a self-biography? More tofu. We got 2 ex-vegans still eating tofu. I wonder if there's a connection. Her new album is #1. Is that a good sign for her diet change? I don't know. There could be other reasons. My mind is blown. I never noticed her singing being very, very good. But I'm not too familiar with her songs. Maybe I should do a song reaction. Yeah, I'm willing to listen to some of that. So, can't find anything here, so I just have no idea how she's doing, or she's had great success in the last few weeks here. But it's not very clear if it's the vegan diet or something else. I was looking through this list of ex-vegan celebrities to find someone I'm familiar with and one surprised by how many. And I saw Bob Harper. I covered him 3 years ago. He had quit the vegan diet back then and had a heart attack afterwards. Yeah, this is new. The Biggest Loser trainer was famously vegan before suffering a heart attack. That wasn't very well put. In February 2017, after his health scare, he began incorporating fish into his diet. Let's keep reading here. Quote, to all the vegans out there that follow me and tell me that I'm going to have another heart attack if I continue to eat fish, please refrain from posting these awful comments. They are just plain hateful and mean. Those mean vegans, man. Yeah. Worst people were the worst. So militant. Oh my God. Wow. This is U.S. Magazine. They're not a tabloid. They just made it sound like he had a heart attack when he was a vegan. That's 4 years ago, but I remember what happened. The Footloose star had given into his meat cravings, but didn't say anything more. Yeah, that's her. I was thinking that was her. Yeah, put 10 years on her. Yeah, I knew her sister was a vegan or vegetarian back then. So I'm not surprised that she took it up. Zoe Deschanel. Once followed a vegan diet, she told Health Magazine in 2011 that she no longer sticks to a strictly plant-based eating regime because her various food allergies made it nearly impossible. Last celebrity, Kristen Bell. Not much gains there. In October of 2017, do you notice a reoccurring theme there? Veganism hit its high point around that year. It was considered the in thing. She revealed that she ditched her vegan diet while she was pregnant. During my first pregnancy, I was working and it felt like I needed more calories. We have someone who's acknowledging that. That's why we are always talking about bananas. Though she's now a vegetarian, the Good Place alum still respects veganism. I think being vegan is a wonderful way to live, and so what is the problem with her? Is she afraid of bananas, mangoes, dates? Well, I never had a problem with calories. I went a long time. Maybe it's so long that it was unbelievable. So long doing the same diet that I didn't have a lot of information from experimenting. I never experimented. So you never know until you try stuff. So what I'm trying is my own version of the carnivore diet. I think the main point of the carnivore diet is that plants have negative effects, and if you get rid of them, yeah, it's an elimination diet, and things will be better. Well, the only plant foods I'm eating are fruit, which I say is the most benign food there is. No problems with fruit. And the only other plant foods I'm eating is fermented, which simulates how carnivores eat plant foods. This is not acknowledged by the carnivore community, that a lot of carnivores do eat plants. It's the partially digested plants in the organs of the animals that they're eating. So just ferment them, and you'll be sticking to your carnivore diet. As for my results, well, they're kind of slow. The results have been impeded by what's going on in my life right now. I'm very busy, working a lot, and I'm just not sleeping well, too much stress. 2020. So I'm working on fixing all that stuff, just living more healthy. But it's slow, as you know. That's the way it goes. Before I go, I want to mention something. Another prediction that I made that has come true. So much crazy news to talk about that I don't bother much anymore with that, which is why I'm just sticking something here at the end of one of my diet videos, which is all I'm doing now. But I got to tell you about this. I don't know if I ever mentioned it in a video, but I always suspected through most of the middle of 2020, I suspected that Trump and his people were taking the herd immunity approach, but they weren't actually coming out and saying it straightforward. And now you may have heard the news a few days ago, some documents showing that one of Trump's people, talking about pushing herd immunity. Now, here we are on the internet, and if you spend a lot of time in internet circles, Twitter, where people are talking about the virus, you would have heard that the topic of herd immunity was circling all around the internet. And I did do that video on Freely promoting herd immunity. I heavily criticized that, and she introduced us all to that doctor, Newt Witkowski. Freely in the past has told us not to listen to doctors, but now she says,
suddenly objective science is out the window. As you heard from the doctor, he thinks it's to create fear. Okay, I'm not making this up.
oh my God. But by calling him a doctor, she's leaving out the part about him being in the U.S. Senate. And guess what party he belongs to? A member of the Republican Party of Minnesota. Evangelical.
The worst thing here is the government is deliberately going about this all wrong. Experts are even telling us herd immunity is vital. Take a listen.
It's looking like she is pro-herd immunity, that's what Dr. Saladino, carnivore guy, was getting in hot water for. He always sides with the most controversial position. Yeah, that's probably his MO. It's just like what Trump does. This is how they get attention and get popular.
About 80% of the people need to have had contact with the virus, and the majority of them won't even have recognized that they were infected, or they had very, very mild symptoms, especially if they are children. So it's very important to keep the schools open and kids mingling to spread the virus.
This is really sad. And I also know that Trump spends a lot of time on the internet, and that's where he gets all his conspiracy theories and his mentality for those things, where he would believe those before he believes the mainstream. Because you get this mentality that anything that goes against the grain must be true. I can understand that mentality. I've always had a little bit of it myself. So I know Trump must have heard about this herd immunity thing on the internet that was going around way back in the beginning, back in March. And it was pretty clear through the year that he wanted to go with that, but he never came out and actually said it. And the problem with that is that you got almost half the country following Trump and just letting the virus spread. He was having rallies. He didn't wear a mask. He manipulated all the people around him to not wear masks when they're on TV. And so therefore, most of his audience wouldn't be wearing masks. They spread this thing. That's why we're still in this. Because when you have almost half the country going for the herd immunity approach and the other half of the country not, they're going for trying to stop the virus. You see the big problem there. That's why we're in this mess still. Because neither approach was used by the majority of the people. We weren't together. We weren't coordinated. And besides, the herd immunity approach was tried in other countries, and it did not go well. But Trump and Republicans, being sociopaths, uncaring, the uncaring party, just have been proven now. And Melania wore a jacket with the words on it, "I don't care." It's clear they don't care how many people die, as long as it's not them or their family. That's narcissistic, sociopathic personality. It's very common now. But this is the first time it's overtaken our government, and look at the results. They don't even want to pass the stimulus bill because it would give people enough money to survive. They're saying, oh, 600 is too much money. People could retire, and then that's going to ruin the economy. Okay. So to sum up, I was right once again. Post a comment below on any of these topics, and I'll answer anybody's questions down there. And while you're heading down there, give this video a thumbs up or down. And for more videos like this, subscribe and turn your notifications on. Bye, everybody. See you in a couple days.